When you get to the mirror and start doing and redoing to the point that you can't leave the house and miss life, then it's a debilitating issue.
The longest it ever took me to do my hair was 4 hours. My spike would be like, it wasn't perfect, and like that spot, it looks weird. Over here, like my sideburns look weird, and everyone's gonna laugh at me. You can't see OCD. So it really gets to me when people say like, well, I don't see you anxious, I don't see you depressed, I don't see you doing things multiple times. It's not always very obvious. Most of the time, it's really secretive.
It's frightening to watch sometimes, depending on the compulsions, and you want to make it stop, just stop. Because as a parent, you want to fix things, and you can't fix this.
I'm Allison, I'm 14 years old, and I live with OCD. So this is my room, and I have all my stuff here. Eeyore was always my favorite character in Winnie the Pooh, because I'm like the glass half empty kind of person, so I just felt like I understood him more, rather than the other ones, which were just like silly characters. And it feels like someone gets me. I first realized I had OCD in 3rd grade. I would rewrite and reread, retalk. I knew it wasn't normal because no one else was doing it, but I just felt like it had to be done. So a normal day, I would say at least 3 hours are spent being anxious or doing compulsions in my head. A compulsion is a behavior that you do either mentally or physically to relieve the anxiety from the obsession or intrusive thought. Most of my compulsions are like pure O, which means it's mental compulsions. So instead of tapping the wall 10 times, I count in my head 10 times. And no one sees it, but it's definitely still there. The most I've ever done compulsions were like a day and a half without stopping. I was in 4th grade, and my rewriting OCD got really bad, so I couldn't write without rewriting it at least 10 times each word. I would write something and erase it and write and erase, and it would get me really anxious, and then I would rip through the paper, and I would just like hide in the bathroom, try to like not be at school, and I would try to take as much sick days as I can off. My mom tried to explain to that teacher about OCD like multiple times, and my teacher just made everything worse. She would rip up my paper, she would throw it away.
Her teacher at the time
Horrible.
wasn't really aware of what OCD was, so she would address it by saying things like, you just need practice in writing.
At the same time, I was getting made fun of for my OCD because I was rewriting so much. Everyone knew that, and everyone knew me as a person who rewrites. Then I remember this boy was rewriting a sentence because he messed up, and all the kids were like, oh, you got the Allison disease. I tried to play it off as a joke. I'm like, yeah, haha, yeah, but when I got home, I was crying to my mom because I don't want to be known as that. I don't want to be known as the weird person. All my friends, they're in a regular school. They might fail a few tests, but they're okay with it. And for me, it's like I have to be in a special school with teachers that help me 24/7, and it kind of makes me feel like I'm not independent, and I can never do anything by myself.
So the general idea, what was the whole book about, if you had to put into one sentence only?
Susanna, which is in a psych ward recovering from schizophrenia.
So it's girls in a psych ward trying to recover from?
Mental illnesses.
Awesome. That would be your sentence.
This book is about what?
What is this book about?
Oh yeah. So my OCD is spiking right now because I have to write exactly what my mom said, or else in my head I feel like it's gonna be wrong. So I would just do an exposure by not doing exactly. So I would just think of what I heard, and if it's not exact, then it's not exact.
And I would go out of my way to not repeat it.
Exposure, or ERP, exposure response prevention, is exposing yourself to the anxiety. So you would do the opposite of what you're scared of. And then it slowly gets better. So this is my camera. Packing up my case causes me anxiety sometimes because it's like I have to do it perfectly or else it's gonna get ruined or I'm gonna lose something. So like it sounds like a normal fear, but it just goes so over the top that it takes me a long time to pack it up. It took me maybe like an hour and a half just to figure out where to put it without being so anxious.
A lot of people seem to think that if you just put things in the right order, that is OCD. And you have everybody walking around going, oh, I'm a little OCD too. You're not. You're so not.
Everyone has intrusive thoughts, sometimes intrusive images, but it's not OCD. OCD is when you can never let go of it. It's causing you so much anxiety and it interferes with your daily life.
For Allison, everything has to be perfect, and perfect is a strange thing that doesn't exist.
When I take the photo, I feel like this is like the perfect moment in time. Like I want to keep this forever. I just feel free that I could take as many as I want. They could be as horrible as they can be. I could just have fun with it. But when I download them all to my phone, the more photos I have to choose from, the more it like makes me anxious because I'm like, but now there's so many, and what if one is better than the other, but I didn't choose one? So I'm gonna just throw this away so it doesn't like stress me out. Usually it would take me a few minutes and I would ask a bunch of people like, which one do you like better? And when I like one picture better and they like the other one, it gets me like really stressed. Because if it's not right, then there's something not complete about me. In the past, my OCD would be worse when something wasn't just right or perfect. Now it's more like reassurance.
Reassurance seeking is, originally it starts out very cute, but it develops into something that morphs out of control. When she was little, she used to walk around and say, do you love me? And it's cute. You have a 3-year-old asking you if you love them, you say, yes, I love you. And then that question would come up 150 times a day. And you think that you should answer them because, heck, your kid just asked you if you love them. But they need to make sure that they hear you. They need to be certain that they did it the right way. And that reassurance doesn't exist. Over the last 10 years, Allison has spent an enormous amount of time battling this illness with all types of medical professionals, including cognitive behavior therapy and exposure therapy and medication coming into play. We have amazing therapists in the city, but they're extremely expensive. And by extremely, it pretty much takes an average salary of the American worker. We were lucky that there was a grant, so she did get some relief through the grant. But as of right now, I think the best course of medicine is herself. She does the exposures herself. She's making progress.
To go to gymnastics, I have to put it in a ponytail. When I would do the ponytail, that was when my OCD spiked a lot. And my routine would be like using the keratin mist. So it smells a little bad. I'm sorry. I would use a lot of hair ties because I need it to be like perfect amount of like tightness. I have to do 2 at a time. A few months ago, I had like really bad OCD about this. So to make it easier, I got like this shaved off and I put like designs on it to make it look cute. And I only have half a head to deal with, so it made it a lot easier to conquer the OCD.
I guess everyone takes a while to do their hair, but I don't think it stops you from living. If this was 6 to 9 months ago, she would have redone the ponytail countless times by now. In fact, we're going to kind of do the opposite now. You go with as messy of hair as humanly possible.
I know. And then like more of an exposure was to go out with my friends, to go to gymnastics. So I have to go to places that like people can judge me at.
Allison has found a place where she belongs. She enjoys gymnastics. She has always been very strong. So gymnastics has been one of those places where she can use that strength and not use her brain. So she's able to go in there and just exert all the energy that she has. Allie, I think, is going to be involved in the OCD community forever. I think that she'll find work in that space because it seems to bring her joy to help others.
So this was a sign that I made. It was just a few weeks ago, actually. I went to DC for an OCD and a mental health walk. I'm active on social media and I advocate for OCD and mental health in general. It helps me because I have a great community around me that makes me feel like I belong somewhere.
She inspires me every day. She gets up and she battles the same demons and somehow she finds a way to just do it. It's amazing to watch. I don't think I could do the same.
I don't think I will ever be cured of OCD. It's a lifelong thing. New OCDs pop up. It could be one day not even there and then the next day it's there and it's full blown really, really bad. And you really just have to fight it back a day at a time.